AITA for leaving my girlfriend at a restaurant, which contributed to her failing her probation period at work? I have been in a relationship with my girlfriend, Cindy, since college. Last September, Cindy's company went under. She took it really hard because she loved her workplace, her colleagues, and her boss. Unfortunately, they just weren't making enough money, so she was laid off. When Cindy came home and gave me the news, I asked if she wanted me to introduce her to my boss. Since we have the same specialty, we work in the same field, and my company is almost always hiring. Cindy said yes, and I texted my boss right away. After submitting her resume and going through a short interview process, she was hired for a 3-month probationary position. I was really excited to work with Cindy. We could save money on gas by carpooling, spend more time together, and have lunch together. Unfortunately, things didn't go as I expected. To be honest, Cindy was a terrible employee. She arrived at the office 15 to 20 minutes late almost every day. I had to stop carpooling with her because I have a morning meeting and need to be at work 15 minutes early every day. Cindy's favorite work activity was opening a blank Google Doc and staring at her phone under the desk. Our 1-hour lunch break usually turned into an hour and a half for Cindy, and she really didn't accomplish much during her time there. This went on for 3 months. Last Monday was one of the rare times Cindy was actually ready on time to go to work together. Maybe it was because I had been pushing her to step up, or maybe because her probation period was about to end, but we were able to carpool. We went out to lunch together, and Cindy ate way too slowly. I kept checking the time and urging her to hurry up, but by the end of the meal, just when we had to leave to get back on time, Cindy decided she wanted another refill of soda. I told her time was up, but she insisted she needed another drink. To make things worse, the restaurant was packed, and we couldn't flag down a waiter. I put the money for the meal and tip on the table and told Cindy I was leaving, with or without her. Cindy played chicken with me, thinking that if she refused to leave, I'd have no choice but to wait. But I walked to my car and drove back. Cindy showed up 20 minutes later, visibly nervous. The restaurant was a 10-minute walk away, so I'm pretty sure she actually ended up getting that refill. She's been furious with me ever since. Last Friday, Cindy got her final verdict on her probation period. Due to her lack of punctuality and general lack of direction, my company decided not to hire her for a full-time position. Cindy blames me. She says I made her late and ruined everything. Last night, she asked me how she was going to pay her share of the rent without a job. And I responded, yeah, that's a good question. How are you going to pay? This only added fuel to the fire, and now she doesn't even want to argue about it anymore. Was I an asshole for what I did?
Talking mice. If she seriously believes she wasn't hired because of that particular day, and not all the other ones, she's completely delusional. You even tried helping her to be punctual, but she didn't care at all. NTA asshole. Not your responsibility at all. Valnair. This is going to sound crazy, but that may have been the point. She may have been intentionally oblivious about getting back from lunch on time, knowing that OP would leave without her. He's already set the precedent that he won't be late to work for her with the morning carpools, and then using that to blame him for failing instead of herself. With how she acted at work, she might still have been self-aware enough to realize she wasn't going to be kept on. So this could have been a plan to guilt OP into not pushing her too hard about the rent. It sounds like they live together. I know this sounds a bit far-fetched, but I've known some really manipulative people who would do exactly this. Awkward reaction twirl. I didn't even recognize this as a possibility at the time, but now that you say it, it actually sounds likely. Honestly, I don't understand how any reasonable person would expect to pass a probationary period at a job after being chronically late and spending the whole day messing around on Instagram. Any reasonable person? She is not a reasonable person. She's not even rational. She knew she was on probation and tanked her chances from the start by just being unemployable. I hope the lease is in OP's name only so he can make her leave. Miss Wrestling number 2. I hope the opposite is true. I hope it's in her name so OP can move out hassle-free before or after the eviction. Seriously. I'd be even more upset if I had given my boss a recommendation and she behaved so badly at work. OP's judgment is definitely in question in his boss's eyes after this terrible recommendation. He should probably apologize and point out that he had no idea her work ethic was so different from his. This happened to me with a cousin. I was doing really well at my job and got my cousin hired. I had no reason to think she would be late many times, take a lot of days off for various reasons like I don't feel well or be slow at work, etc. In theory and from personal experience, she should have been amazing. I had to apologize after she was fired because based on my past experience with her, she should have been perfect for the job, and I had no idea how it all went so wrong. Everything with her went downhill after that. Father's tea time. I'd be absolutely furious. You take a huge risk when you bring a friend or partner into your workplace. Right now, I'm all for saying screw the man, but she's screwing herself over because this casts a shadow over your judgment. Yeah, hopefully no one else in OP's life needs a job anytime soon. His credibility at that job is shot forever. He won't be able to recommend anyone else to his boss. I made that mistake at OP's age, and it's not good.
Update. AITA for ditching my girlfriend at a restaurant, which contributed to her failing her probationary period at work. Last week, talked about how my girlfriend, Cindy, completely blew her probationary period for the job I got her. She was chronically late, unproductive, and took 90-minute marathon lunch breaks. She claims that I sabotaged her because instead of being late when getting back to work, I left her at a restaurant when she wanted another refill of her soda. Anyway, Cindy decided that she was going to take some time off work for her mental health. Knowing that she had absolutely no savings, I asked how she was going to contribute to rent, groceries, and utilities. But Cindy said that wasn't my concern. I decided to be upfront and flat out told her not to expect me to financially support her. She responded by calling me a low provider, whatever that means. It's also not right because I'm more of a no provider. I'm not into arrangements where I financially support a woman for companionship. At this point, I knew that our relationship was basically over, but I decided that I'd stay in the apartment we rent for the next 2 months, as we have paid our rent in full until the end of May, and then leave. Then Cindy began taking steps to actively sabotage me at work. For example, last Friday, when I was getting ready for work, I couldn't find my shoes. After letting me look for them for 15 minutes, Cindy finally said that she had washed them. I'm fairly sure Cindy has never washed anything other than a plate or her own laundry, but on Friday morning, she suddenly decided to wash my shoes. Right. They were soaking wet. I had to wear an old pair of Crocs that were 2 sizes too small to the office that day. On my way home, I bought new shoes and kept them in my car. Then Cindy began spamming me with texts during a meeting on Saturday, one I had told her I was having, saying there was a guy banging on our door. She insisted I needed to come home right away. I checked our Ring camera and saw nothing. When I texted her back saying so, she said it must have been the neighbor or something. It's worth mentioning here that I can see the neighbor's door on the camera too, and nobody was banging on it either. I got the picture of what was going on, and realizing the next escalation would be having my tires slashed or brakes cut. After work that day, I went back to our apartment, gathered my belongings, and left. Cindy naturally went off the rails, but I got out safely. Now I'm at my buddy's house for a few days until I can find a new living situation. Thank you for all the advice you gave me. I'm sure this can act as a cautionary tale in various ways. Unfortunately, I'm kind of out of it after all this drama, so I'll leave that part up to you.
Thanks for the update, and good luck during this transition. If you haven't told your boss yet, you might want to inform them in case she keeps trying to sabotage your job. Not only should he tell his boss, but also the police, because, as he mentioned, she might cut his brakes, which could cause a car accident. She wanted to ruin him in every way possible. I'm glad OP was smart enough to leave when he could. Solution diffusivamente. It was like an attempt to sabotage OP's life and cause him the most damage possible. Ganador Efectivo 462. She even blamed OP and tried to make him pay. He has every right to everything. The next step would have been trapping him with a baby. Yeah. Oh, she'll probably make that call in about 3 weeks. I have no doubt that she would have tried to end OP's life if he hadn't left when he did. She's a psychopath.
This story serves as a warning about the importance of recognizing red flags in a relationship before things reach a breaking point. Mutual respect, responsibility, and communication are fundamental in any partnership. But when one person actively sabotages the other's life, it's no longer just a matter of incompatibility. It becomes a toxic and dangerous environment. No one is obligated to financially support a partner who shows no interest in their own well-being. Nor should they tolerate manipulation or sabotage. Maturity means accepting the consequences of our actions, and blaming others for our own failures only distances us from the opportunity to grow and improve. For those who find themselves in similar situations, this story makes it clear that although the decision to leave can be difficult, sometimes it's the only way to protect yourself and regain peace of mind. Emotional stability and personal well-being should always be a priority.
If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends so more people can enjoy these tales. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Take care, and we'll see you in the next story. See you soon.